back at the park doing some laps, and I'm going to reattempt last week's failed 5-mile repeats. And this time I've come to a friendlier course, flat as a pancake. So the workout's going to be 5 times 1600 metres at the goal 10k pace, so around 6:15, 6:20 per mile, which is just a shade under that sub 40 minute pace. The recoveries are going to be 2 minutes. This time we're going to ease into them. I'm going to really try and keep the first 2 in that 6:20 range, which I'm sure will make the last 3 more bearable. The warm-up feels a million times better than with last week's attempt, so far so good. That is a 3 and a bit k warm-up done. 2 and a bit miles, straight into the first rep. 6:25 for the first one. So yeah, absolutely fine. Nothing to panic about. Into the second. 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Here we go again. Alright, third rep. 6 minutes 19. So managing to keep all of this under control so far so good. 6 minutes 20 for that one. Feeling hard now, but heart rate would indicate I could work harder. Only getting into the low 170s here, so I do have a bit of room. Come on, last one, let's go. 6 minutes 15. So a great rep to end on. That was hard work though. That is on the limit. Probably the wrong side of the 10k pace limit, but nonetheless, a much better workout. Great, little cool down jog back home now. So let's just work this out. From memory, the laps were 6:25, 6:20, 6:18, 6:20 and 6:15. So I think we're saying that's a 6:19 average, 6:19 per mile, which comes in at under 4 minutes per kilometre. Obviously I'll put it on the screen. I reckon that pacing is spot on for what I'm looking to do. And I mustn't forget, that is 5 miles of solid work there. That is no run-of-the-mill 20 minutes of workout. That's 33, 34 minutes of solid work, that one. Yeah, much better workout, much more improved execution versus last week. Right, that'll end up being 15 kilometres, maybe just shy. Did a nice 12-kilometre easy effort yesterday. So yeah, week's off to a good start. Well, that was a great session, them mile repeats. I must admit, I always underestimate how hard mile repeats actually are. I had to use some of the mental tricks on that last rep. A sort of countdown with 600 metres to go, 6. With 500 metres to go, 5. When you do this little countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it just helps you to focus on the next one or next 100 metres. You know, it was a hard session. I think the legs were just feeling maybe a little on the tired side. The heart rate would suggest it wasn't that hard. I think it was average 148 and a maximum of 175. But 175 is only 4 beats above my threshold. And the maximum heart rate that I've ever seen, which would have been on January the 1st this year, is 185. So there was a bit of room to spare. There's quite a few metrics now that are showing that fitness is in a great place, including that one again, a +3 from the Garmin on the performance condition. But when you do a hard session, like them mile repeats, and it takes you 2 attempts to do it, it is keeping me honest, and I don't want to get complacent. Anyway, on to this week's long run. Just over 12k in now. Looking for about 22 kilometres today. It's looking like 5k out, a 5 and a bit k loop. I'll do the loop again, and then 5k back. Yeah, so first half really nice and easy, a lovely low heart rate, probably 15, 16 kilometres, and then I'm going to jump into a 6k progression, starting off 5 minutes per kilometre for the first, and I'll knock off 10 seconds each kilometre until I get to 4 minutes per kilometre for the last one, which of course is around that 10k pace mark. So, sounds dead simple, doesn't it? It's a 6k progression. Well, actually, I always find these quite tough to execute right. I find it really difficult just to control that pace of running and hit those kilometre splits spot on. I always speed up a bit too much at the beginning, struggle just to meet the faster paces at the end. Yeah, it's great practice for your discipline, your focus, your concentration, just to dial into a pace. So there we are, 14 kilometres, nice and easy. Something like a 5:20, 5:15 average pace, I don't know. I'm going to very slowly start cranking up the pace. So we'll see if I can hit 5 minutes in this next kilometre? No, 4:56. It drives you mad, these progressions. The watch was saying 5:05 for most of that kilometre, so it just upped the pace a tiny bit. I mean, it barely moved the needle, and then we go and come in at 4:56. And of course, once you get into that cycle of speeding up, slowing down, you slow down towards the end of the kilometre, but then you need to speed up for the next kilometre, but then you speed up too much, so then you have to slow down even more. That's why this is a good little test to see how good you are at hitting those paces. Doesn't sound hard on paper, does it? Anyway, second one in. Perfect. 4 minutes 50, 4 minutes 40, and I just realised this is actually going to be a 7k progression, not a 6. Because after 3 down, there's still 4 to go. 4 minutes 29, next to up a gentle incline. 4:18, and with the heart rate only getting up to 165 so far. 4:08. Come on. Hello, future me here. That last kilometre was 3:56. Yeah, due to user error, I filmed a lot of pocket footage, but not much of me running. That ended up being a really nice 22 kilometre long run with that 7k progression in the end. Yeah, executed really nicely. Really pleased with the heart rate there. I mean, for the first half, it was hovering in the high 120s. By some measures, that's not even zone 2. Crept into the low 130s just before that progression. Yeah, one of those where everything just seemed to click together. It was a really nice long run. Just thinking back to those mile repeats earlier on in the week, the average pace of all of them actually ended up being the same as the previous week, where I came away thinking that was a poor session. But amazing, this week, just by executing them just a little better at the end of the day, there were seconds in it either way, it just felt like a much, much better session. Just perception of how well you think you did can change everything. As for the week then, that ended up being a 77, 78 kilometre week. And that now means I've put 8 back-to-back solid weeks together consecutively since my little glute flare-up. And the 8-week rolling average is 71 kilometres, just shy of 45 miles a week. And indicators such as the net heart rate efficiency continues to go in the right direction. I did a video over here on what that's all about and why I like to track it. So if you got this far into the video, thanks very much for watching. Please do consider a subscribe and a like.